Today's book is A Court of Silver Flames. This is the fourth installment of A Court of Thorns and Roses series, by Sarah J. Maas. The book takes us deeper into Prythian, following Nesta Archeron's journey of healing after the events of the previous books. This video is a summary of the book. A Court of Silver Flames is from Nesta's point of view, and some parts are Cassion's. It has 80 chapters divided into 3 parts. It starts with Nesta's recollection of the burning feeling from freezing water in the cauldron, her blood boiling, with the cauldron's power seeping into her, and she makes the cauldron pay by taking with her the power as the darkness transforms her like a newborn star. Part 1 Novice. Nesta is staying in an apartment paid for by Rhys. She separates herself from her sisters. Cassion arrives to pick her up and winnow to Rhys and Farah's new house. Cassion notices a male in Nesta's bedroom. After the events in the previous books, Nesta turns to alcohol and sex to forget. In the riverfront house, they notice how terrible she looks and point out how she is wasting her life. Farah told her to stop destroying herself. She orders Nesta to move into the House of Wind with Cassion to train and work at the library, and if she refuses, she will be sent back to human land. Nesta is furious, but Farah isn't relenting. In the House of Wind, to convince Nesta to train, Cassion makes a deal with her. She could ask anything she wanted in exchange for an hour of training every day. Their relationship evolves and becomes intimate. In the library where she works, Nesta meets Gwen, a priestess who becomes her friend. Nesta asked Gwen to train with her. Farah again summoned Nesta to discuss an important mission. They need to find the Dread Trove. These are ancient artifacts made by the cauldron possessing powers, and they must find it first before Brylin, a human queen. Farah is pregnant, so she couldn't help. Since the cauldron also makes Elaine and Nesta, they believe that the Troves will be attracted to them. Nesta is still protecting Elaine, so she said she would do it. Part 1 ended with Gwen finally agreeing to train with Nesta and Cassion. Part 2 The Blade. Nesta meets Emery, an Illyrian warrior and clothes shop owner. She also asked her to train with them. Rhys and the others are concerned that Nesta isn't scrying for the Troves. They give her an ultimatum that if she does not find the items in a week, Elaine will do it. Nesta attempts to scry for the Troves. That night, Nesta feels the darkness and a silver flame surrounds her body as she screams. Rhys comes to handle the situation, and he sees Nesta's true power, pure death. To explain this power, Amren says in the later part of the book Nesta could slay Baron's soldiers, raise them from the dead and turn them against him. Finally, Nesta, Cassion and Osriel set out to find one of the Troves, the mask, in the Bog of Orid. There they come across Eris soldiers. While Cassion is busy with the soldiers, Nesta encounters a Kelpie. Nesta feels the mask on her hand, puts it on, and seizes the Kelpie. Back to the House of Wind, Cassion and Nesta have intimate moments. Next, Cassion takes Nesta to a blacksmith, where Nesta created a blade, a sword and a dagger, and unknowingly transfers power to them, making them magical. Rhys and the others decided not to tell Nesta about the power of the items she created. Also in this part, Rhys finds out that the baby that Farah is carrying has wings and that Farah could die giving birth, but Farah doesn't know yet. Nesta finds out about the new trove she created. She gets upset and tells Farah about the condition of the baby. Rhys gets furious and Cassion takes Nesta to the mountains to hide and wait. Nesta feels guilty about what happened. To lift her up, they practice sword fighting. Part 3 The Valkyries. Nesta and Cassion are back home and the training continues. Nesta joins the priestesses in their service, and she goes into a trance and gets a vision about where the harp is. The second trove. Cassion and Nesta go to the prison to find the harp. Rhys lent her the magic sword to test its powers. There they meet Lanthes. He tries to persuade Nesta to be his queen. Nesta kills Lanthes with the sword and uses the harp to take the wounded Cassion back to the river house. To get more allies, Nesta practices a dance with Mor to entice Eris during the winter solstice. But Cassion interrupts the dance, and during the exchange of presents, Cashin and Nesta talk about how they feel for each other. Part 4, Ataraxia. The training of Nesta, Gwyn and Emery continues until the time of the blood rite, which is the final test of a warrior. The three are brought to the mountains where they have to battle with other warriors. Nesta sacrifices herself and battles with Belius so Emery and Gwyn can reach the top. Meanwhile, Cashin is caught by Bryolin and puts under her spell, bringing him to the mountains to kill Nesta. But Cashin takes control of his mind and plunges the dagger to himself instead. Furious, Nesta kills Bryolin and takes the third trove, the crown. Mor and Azriel arrive and inform Nesta and the wounded Cashin that Fair's water broke and is in danger. The group goes home. Nesta sees Farah's condition while giving birth and breaks her heart. She summons all three troves, makes a bargain with the cauldron to teach her how to help Farah, and will return her power. The cauldron agreed. Farah and her son are saved, a ceremony follows for Nesta and Cashin, and they will live in the House of Wind. The end. Now, my thoughts about this book. I didn't want to read it when I found out this is from Nesta's POV. I didn't like her in the first 4 books. But for the sake of finishing the series, I decided to just dive into it, and I'd say it surprised me. I like that there are many triumphs in the story. It ended fine. And if there would be another book, I wouldn't be reading that anymore. What I don't like is its 800 pages, because there are just too many details about everything. There are just too many words to describe a simple bathing or dining. The spicy chapters are too much for me. In the later part of the book, I feel like events are added just to lengthen the book, like the sleepover of the Valkyries and Nesta's dance practice. The book could be 600 pages and could still deliver the entire plot. I gave this book 4 stars on Goodreads. If you've read A Court of Silver Flames, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more bookish content. Happy reading!